Welcome back to another episode of The Quest for Self. I'm your host, Allie. We live in what I like to call the lonely era. Even though we're hyper-connected online, many of us feel more isolated than ever. TikTok, Instagram, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, countless groups and chats. We get likes on photos, comments on posts, and maybe even online friends we truly value. But when loneliness hits, when those likes and comments aren't enough, who do we really turn to? Have you ever noticed how easy it is to feel connected, but still feel alone? Isn't that strange? Some of us are fortunate enough to have friends just a text, a call, or a short drive away. Others, they aren't. And even for those with social networks, there's still a deeper sense of isolation that often lingers. I mean, when was the last time you had a random, meaningful conversation with a stranger? Think about it. Was it recently? Or has it been so long that you can't even remember? And if you did, how did it make you feel afterward? That question has been sitting with me lately, especially after returning to California from Spain. It's something I've been experiencing so deeply, and I want to explore it with you today. Because loneliness, it's not just about being alone. It's about losing touch with genuine connection. And that's something we can all change. For about 6 to 8 months of the year, I live in Spain. The other months, I live in California. And I just returned a few weeks ago, and the contrast between the two places has never felt sharper. In Spain, I live in a neighborhood where everything is accessible within walking distance. Grocery stores, cafes, bars, hair salons, nail salons, everything I need is less than a 10-minute walk away. Even a rare treat like boba was just a short stroll. That meant walking everywhere. And with walking came connection. I knew the cafe owner. I had conversations with the local butcher. I frequented a pet store where I became friends with the owner. We'd share coffee, drinks, stories. None of these were deep, lifelong friendships, but they were real. They gave my days texture and warmth. And recently, as I've been here in California, it's really made me reflect on the following. I keep asking myself, when was the last time I had a conversation like that? One with no agenda, no expectation, just human connection. And as I sit here asking myself that, I want you to ask yourself the same thing. When was the last time you had an interaction like that? I think about those things quite frequently, and then I contrast those things with living here in California. Here, we rely heavily on cars. My gym is about a 10-minute drive away. It's not realistically walkable. Neighborhoods are so spread out. Sidewalks exist, but walkable communities? Not so much. That means fewer random encounters, fewer spontaneous conversations. We have to choose connection because it doesn't just happen by accident. A few Sundays ago, I noticed just how rare those moments really are here. I went to brunch with friends in Berkeley. It was a small, cute cafe, and the owners, busy, a little backed up, struck up a conversation with us. They asked where we were from, how we found them. I told them I discovered them on TikTok and was excited to try their food. The conversation felt warm, genuine, human. It filled me with joy. Later, walking down the street to a nearby coffee shop, I struck up another conversation. I asked the people behind the counter if they were really French, because the pastry shop was marketing themselves as a boulangerie, a French pastry bakery shop. And in that moment, a conversation struck up. They were brothers, they were actually really French, and they ran another cafe in Paris. They started speaking to me in French. I stumbled through a few words and we laughed. That exchange left me smiling for hours, and as I sit here recording this, I'm still smiling. But moments like that here feel rare. People get coffee to go. Sidewalk cafes in California rarely have people lingering. Contrast that with Spain, Paris, or Madrid, where even on gloomy days, people will sit outside without laptops and just talk. Imagine walking into a cafe and knowing the barista's name, or them knowing yours. Imagine a world where spontaneous human connection is part of your weekly life or your daily life. Wouldn't that be something? That's the bigger picture I want to explore today. So, why do some of us struggle to connect? It's not just personal, it's structural, cultural, and digital. And I've felt it in my own life. In Spain, even when I worked remotely, connection felt built in. I could grab my laptop and work from a park, a bench, or slip into a cafe 2 minutes away from my house. Benches line the squares. Cafes spill into sidewalks. People linger. Even bad weather had its rhythm. You just duck into a cozy spot and keep working. Those little moments, they add up. Here in California, it's different. Cute cafes for me are at least 20 to 30-minute drives out. Public benches, well, they're not part of the culture. Remote work feels isolating. I find myself hopping on extra calls with coworkers just to hear another voice. Here, connection has to be a choice. It doesn't happen by accident. And honestly, it's not just me. It's the way our communities are designed. Car culture, suburban sprawl, fewer walkable areas. It leaves fewer chances for spontaneous connection. We add in our get it done mindset plus our phones, and that leaves practically no room for any real connection. Take a moment to reflect. I want you to ask yourself, how often do you catch yourself scrolling when you feel lonely? And does it ever actually make you feel any better? This isn't just theory, it's something I feel. The other day in Berkeley, I went to a cafe and met two French brothers who run a cafe in Paris. One of them told me he splits his time between Paris and California, 6 months here, 6 months there. I told him I'd do something very similar with Madrid. In that moment, I felt so seen. Someone understood my rhythm of life. That 5-minute conversation shifted my whole mood. I walked out smiling, reminded that connection can change your entire day. And then there are nights when I'm lying in bed, scrolling. Time slips away. I'm consuming, not connecting. I feel empty, and I know I'm not alone in that feeling. It's a symptom of this era. Connection, it's not just a want, it's a need. And here's the thing, it's not just me being dramatic about this. The US Surgeon General actually declared loneliness an epidemic in 2023. An epidemic. He even compared the health risk of being lonely to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. 15. So basically, if you're lonely and you smoke, yikes. But seriously, don't smoke. And that's the point. Loneliness isn't just sad, it's harmful. It raises risks of heart disease, depression, dementia, even early death. That's how much our bodies crave connection. We're literally wired for it. But here's the part I find interesting. In Europe, I've seen people smoking like chimneys outside cafes. But they're laughing, talking, connecting. In a strange way, their social lives protect them from the very thing that makes loneliness so deadly. I mean, yes, the cigarettes might be killing them slowly, but at least they're not dying of isolation. It just goes to show connection really is medicine. So, what can we do? Connection is possible, but it takes intention. And here's how. Start with micro connections. Spark small conversations. Ask about the cafe. Compliment a stranger's dog. Say hello to the barista. No goal needed, just human presence. Environmental tweaks. Take your work outside. Walk your dog in busy areas where encounters happen naturally. Choose places where lingering is encouraged. Digital awareness. Notice when you're doom scrolling. Swap a scroll session for a walk or a call to a friend. Create community on purpose. Join a class, yoga, language, ceramics. Volunteer locally. Become a regular somewhere. Shift the mindset. Connection isn't always about deep friendships. Often, it's the small, everyday exchanges that nourish us most. Think about your daily interactions, the places you frequent. What micro connection could you spark today? Could it be as simple as saying hello to someone or asking a stranger how they're doing? Loneliness today isn't a personal failure. It's systemic, but it's not inevitable. This week, I'm challenging you to create one moment of connection. Spark one random, meaningful conversation. Ask someone how their day is. Compliment a stranger. Notice how it feels afterward. Because connection isn't just about avoiding loneliness, it's about becoming more fully alive. Every small step you take toward connection isn't just a step toward someone else, it's a step toward a better version of yourself. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of The Quest for Self. If you enjoyed listening to this episode, like, follow, subscribe, comment, and share. It would mean the world. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media, The Quest for Self.